Hello, everybody. This is Ward Justice. We just got announcement for another game that's going to be coming out at the end of this year. This will be Titanquest 2, another ARPG game that I'm looking forward to myself. There's lots of games coming out, lots to play with Path of Exile 2's Early Access, Diablo 4's Season 7, and now Titanquest 2. Here's footage on some of the gameplay here. You can customize different classes, create your gear. Basically just another ARPG to add to the genre. Titan Quest 1 was great. This one should be a good hit as well. Yeah, crossplay, so all platforms. Looking forward to this one as well, just to add to the pile of other games we're getting here. So it should be an eventful year into Q1 of 2025. And here's some live broadcast footage on some of the skills, the builds, attributes, second attributes. So we'll take a look here.
Stones. So that is something we're looking into still. Probably sometime during the early access we'll have our answer regarding that. Anyway,
It'll be early
I leveled up
access.
again. What do we do next, Flo? I finished this first. So
yeah,
we
that
have
sounds
the
good.
energy.
Maybe we can show the frost charts.
Yeah,
The ice charts.
that's probably a good idea. We can respec at least a little bit. Let's get the maximum energy or the regen. I think the regen.
The regen is good.
Yeah, that's probably gonna allow us
This
to
is on the
be
sorcerer.
smooth there. So the current thing that's applied to ice shards, current modifier, is the torrent, which gives us additional projectiles. That's pretty much a no-brainer, right? Like, you probably want to go this first. But there's other options. There's this one that allows you to penetrate further enemies. However, to get to level 6 would require 4 points, and we have 3 right now. So I think we're going to start here with long shot, which just requires 1. And we'll just spend these points and wait for the 6th one, and then we'll swap them out later at the next level up.
Yeah,
We'll
so
also
you
gain
can
this.
already also see that the capacity costs may differ on the complexity of the modifier. So it's not always a given that you can slot every modifier that you want. There will definitely super expensive ones.
Let me know your
which
thoughts
really will
as
make
well.
you have to think about
If you're gonna,
what
this is a
modifiers
game
you
you're going to
actually
pick up, try it out, early access when it's released. It's supposed to be
they're
the
a
end of
little
this
bit
year,
better
or maybe
if
beginning
I
of Q1.
shoot from a longer range. They're going to be stronger now, so that's, I think, very visible here. This should have been a more complex encounter, but we're just a little bit too strong for this. So, again, the early parts of the game are a little bit easier, as this area that we're showing off, but we'll shortly ramp up the difficulty a little bit. And to go back to the semi-open world approach, we do want to reward exploration. So this lady over there, not very happy to see us. because we should be over there. But she's pointing us out to this chest down there. There should be some useful loot. I'll make use of that. Now, because of the ranged issues, I'll be swapping back to spear and shield for the moment, and hopefully we get some decent drops. This is not scripted, so not everything will go well for me.
Maybe it's actually a good point.
This is live game footage
that
as
we
well,
talk
by
about
the
the
way.
enemy
So
classes, right? We have
playing on the fly.
these faction system, and you have seen plenty of the Ictins by now. But here we also start to introduce more classes to make the combat encounters a bit more complex and more
It
interesting.
reminds me a lot of like before.
So what you have to think of
Attributes,
factions is like
the
skills
skills, the
for
way
our
the
game
gear
designers
looks,
to play
etc.
with to create these encounters. So we have
Open
guards
world.
that tank damage and try to keep you away from the casters. Then the casters themselves that either deal high damage or assist. Also we have the crowd and enemies like the troopers here and the brute that you can see here in the middle with the big club, where you definitely want to stay away from. As you can see, he really can dish out damage. And if you, like, again, by himself, he might not be the biggest
It's kind of
threat,
like a barb,
but
I guess,
imagine
this guy.
you are stunned by one of the guards who have a shield and are surrounded maybe by a few others, then this really becomes an issue.
That's absolutely right. And, you know, we've seen earlier the man catcher, the guy with the giant halberd, as well as his net that he can throw. So he can net you. And then the brute comes in, he slams on the ground. It's also a very powerful ability that you have to be wary of. And, you know, we just really want to demand a little bit of attention, a little bit of creativity to solve these combat encounters. But again, early on, we're still simple. Later on, we will start mixing these more advanced creatures together. And actually, we'll get to show that later in the demo as well here. So I've got is this a dagger? That means we can have two. But I need to click on the shield to remove that. We have inventory sorting, of course, by the way. And we have a ton of stats for you to enjoy. This is just a basic overview, but we'll have a lot of advanced stats, and I mean a lot. Now you can see a lot of these are still under construction, but these are
damage,
at the base
thermic
level all the stats that we'll provide for you, and we'll try to
cool,
make sure that they're very clear. We're still working on the tooltips for them, but we'll make sure that it's easy to understand. Now, why did I go double daggers? So the reason it's interesting is because they have a lot of single target damage. So if I come across some tough enemies, I'll be able to just shank them and they'll very quickly disappear. But these basic weapons, these smaller weapons, they don't have a big area of effect. All the weapons have an area of effect in Titanquest 2, but their shape and size differs. So it's a tiny cone with these. But you get this crazy attack speed, especially once your rage goes up with our current setup.
Nemesis. This sorry. The god Glaukos has a temple near here.
And if we are lucky, we maybe find later, the Raging Bull who makes a reappearance. I read it somewhere in the community that they were afraid that we have this pre-placed loot everywhere. This is definitely not the case. It's just, as some were already mentioning, a setup for the demo build, so we can actually reward the players of the demo.
Kind of cool as well. They came out with
it's definitely not
some
the case
news
in
and
the real game. So the demo,
game footage here
yes,
to show
we did
us
want to
of
show
Titan
that
Quest
one
2
item.
just a day
but
after
otherwise everything is
Half-Life
randomized.
2 showed theirs, so
So you still
trying to
have
get people excited, I guess,
farm
for some more
long term.
ARPGs,
And we'll
which
provide
is
you
nice
great
though.
options to do so.
More the
Now,
better.
crafting isn't going to be
I'm
present
not one to
immediately
particularly
in the beginning of
gonna
the
pause
early
this for a
access, but we
second.
do.
I'm not one to particularly put all my eggs in one basket on a game. It's nice to have a little bit of variety so you can play, obviously, the PTR that's coming up, early access PoE 2, and then this game hopefully here, and Season 7 of Diablo, and then there'll be more or less other games, ARPGs that are coming out as well in Q1 that we'll look into.
Been something that people were rubbed the wrong way by. This is also something that we actually already have in the local build here, the auto pickup of gold. So we are also thinking of quality of life features, although it's early access.
There's tons of these little side areas that you can explore and farm for XP. Like coming here to just go after the spiders. Once we add crafting, this is going to be a lot more meaningful than it is in now, this current example. But roaming around here, there's a lot of spiders. So if we do something crafting related with spiders, this is a decent place to go. And there will be teleporters nearby as well. There it is. Just walk past it. And I guess
Found
one
portals.
more area that we
Waypoints.
can very briefly show is this little farm spot with the boars and the birds. Should be familiar from Titanquest 1. Very hard to see the boars in the tall grass, so they pose a little bit of challenge. Might be surprising you every now and then. And of course, there's a big boy.
Definitely.
I'll let him do his ability. Oh god, that was a mistake.
As he dies.
There it is. Big stomp. You definitely want to walk out of that.
Yeah, I was told that actually boars played a very big role in Greek mythology, and yeah, I mean, by the size of it, I can definitely see how they pose a threat. If I see a 3-meter boar, then I would also try to use both my masteries, running and hiding.
Of course, we've got side quests as well. Oh, that's a nice load of items. We even have a scythe here somewhere. So we have two-handed items, of course, for warrior types, but scythes are actually light two-handed items. So a mage type could technically wear this if it was the right type. Now, this is not really lending itself to a mage, but if it had let's say, a fire version of that or a cold version of that, that could totally happen. We'd also be making sure to cover it on the item, such as with this one, where the fire staff is on fire. Well, we have that for the physical weapons as well.
I think one thing I quickly want to note here is we also have like these damage conversions,
I like
obviously.
the versatility of this as well. You
And
can
we
be
also
like
reflect
a mage
that
sorc,
on the projectiles and the
and
weapons.
like a warrior.
So it's not only
Weapons
like if you have like
or
this one
staffs.
skill that kind of converts your damage into frost damage, then you will also be shooting
Pretty cool.
frost projectiles and not only fire projectiles that deal frost damage technically. So we really want to show as much of the gameplay systems on the player-facing side.
Yes, those kinds of weapons are not particularly going to be common, by the way. So we know like a sword on fire obviously is a little special, but it's not going to be a unique, unlike that one. There's a Raging Bull. We placed this here on purpose with a very high chance to spawn,
So it's
just
an
so that
epic
we can
item.
show it off. And I'm just going to make sure I don't have any extra points to spend, but I don't right now, so that's great. What the Raging Bull does is it
Two-handed axe.
makes your rage stacks essentially better, giving you more weapon damage for them. So with epic and legendary items, we'll be handcrafting the precise effects that the weapon will wield. It's not really randomized at this point, but depending on where you find them, they will have a different level to them, which is true of every item, by the way, but also for these unique items that we handcraft rather than the random affixes that you get from the other stuff.
Telling
So
you guys, this is a game.
why is
you
that
want.
important? It's important because
Be
you
another
will want
great
to
ARPG to
get loot that is close
play
to
and
your level.
looter.
Basically,
Should
ensure
be a
that
lot
you
like
get to
D4.
grow
I get the
like that as a
D,
character.
D3, D4
That
vibes.
you get to progress. And it
Good
will give
game,
you
I think.
ways to change the difficulty of the world.
And keep in mind,
as well.
this is just the start
Through
of like the
rituals,
campaign. You're only level 7.
You'll either be able to just increase them flat out in the entire world, or you'll be able to raise the minimum to your own level as well, which is going to be great to go back to older areas to farm there, find items that are specific to the Ichthyians, but eventually you'll be getting out of the area where the Ichthyians are. So one day you will not have access to the Ichthyian stuff, and that's why the big encounters are hard. Yes,
one.
so
Taking
all
on a
these
pack.
tougher, higher tier enemies
Low
working
level.
together using their abilities
Sevens.
is definitely commanding some attention, and I'm talking at the same time now. Not the easiest thing.
Multitasking.
Maybe I can do some talking then.
Yes.
So as Balin mentioned, this is actually a side quest here. So the guy outside of the cave was crying for help because his sister was kidnapped by Ichthyians, and yeah, they are held in this cave. This is all content that could have been missed if you don't pay attention to the world. I mean, not everybody will want to do all the exploration, but those who are interested in that, we will also cater for. And we actually have also a small riddle here in this cave. So not only can we free the villagers that were kidnapped, but we can also find a little extra layer if we actually again take a look at the world and are on the lookout for little things that stand out. Although I have to say, like, these riddles aren't. Oh, nice. Okay.
Green.
These riddles aren't super demanding, so it's no point-and-click adventure, right? It's most of the time just finding the odd one or clicking something in a specific order.
Yes, I did want to stop real quick to talk about that encounter that we just had. So the enchanter was empowering our mancatcher, making him stronger overall, faster as well. And he used his ability to snare on me, which also made him faster and stronger. So that inherently synergizes with itself with just 2 characters getting added to an encounter. And the obvious counter to this is to somehow stun or freeze or whatever, do some status effect on the mage, right? So that it can no longer do the boosting and the healing. Taking that out is quick enough, but then still you get chased by the mancatcher. And then I was skirting around it, making sure to dodge every single attack by just sidestepping. We really want to make sure that the combat is smooth and responsive like that, so that you can really express your skill if you wish. But most of the time, you won't have to do that. But with a very flimsy character that dies easily, a glass cannon, you would probably want to consider it. Now, we've also picked up this monster infrequent item, the Ichthyan sword, which has built-in poison damage in the base damage already. So this is what we mean actually when it comes to... Oops, let me just equip that. Yeah, you can visibly see that this is in fact a poison sword. It does poison damage. It's built into the base, not just through affixes, but affixes can also add further to it. Also, in its innate properties, it has 4 cold and poison damage and gives you some poison resistance. So definitely a pretty decent monster infrequent. If I had 2 of them, and if I had
amulet,
some
or that's your
cunning, I would probably be building this. But for now, I think our build is best for the ritual build. So that's how we'll continue.
Lots of gear slots, item slots.
We also want to add some character to our NPCs, of course. This is part of the puzzle, but what I'm doing ain't it. We gotta find out what it actually wants from us.
Skill slots. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, and then looks like maybe...
Right, and since you mentioned monster frequency, obviously
skills that we can apply to our
aware
character.
of the Titanquest 1 you loot what you can see what you can get what you see system, but that's something that we want to get in some form back, but currently we only do that by loot lists that are fitting to the enemy. We are looking throughout early access into ways to bring that back though.
I think I'm about to level up here. There we go. One more level up before the big encounter. So we were talking about how we're going to use ice shards. Let's do it. Projectile penetration, so it goes through multiple enemies. And I still have 2 more. We can put this back, actually. We can keep the long shot. All right, this is pretty nice. And then we could get even more energy and regeneration as well. Which, by the way, you can also see if you hover over this globe. We have 34 energy regen. That's a lot. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, as you can saw before, Barlet was lighting up the brazier up north. So this is 1, 2, 3 puzzle where you just need to click the increasing number of braziers.
Okay, so you interact with those.
We're not going to do brain-breaking puzzles, but we do want to reward your efforts for exploration and looking around caves and stuff like that. So it's not about complexity. It's about just seeing what's out there.
Exactly. And I think this goes really well with the handcraft.
That's cool. You can be like
leveling content.
Yeah, so there you go. You're a mage and you're a sork using mage abilities, and then you can also
I'm probably not going to
swing
pick those
and
up.
act like a
inventory is about to be full.
For warrior.
Of course, there will be vendors, not in this demo, but we are making them. We have them working locally.
Just universal characters. I like that.
Yeah, so we just met that guy, and he's apparently hiding in this cave and hopes that the Ictians won't fight him.
Sorry,
Let's see.
it's his spot. We really shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see
It
if we
looks
get
as
some
cozy.
good loot for the final fight here in the cave.
Boots.
We're not really gonna need the movement
They call
speed,
the
so
blue
I
the
think I'll
magical
take
item.
this cast speed stuff.
Rares
It's gonna
obviously
come in
better.
useful for our ice shards. What else do we have? This gives us some cold damage. I guess we can go for that. Gonna be nice with the ice shards. And there's a surprise bunch of skellies. And that is actually not a boss over there. The skeleton warlock is what we call a leader.
Like an elite, essentially.
So what
same
that
thing.
means is he's
champion.
the top echelon within the skeleton faction. And I just got frozen by these guys dealing cold damage. That's also attributed to the Frost Revenant. But that's not the only guy with the aura here. Actually, the Warlock has an aura and gives these guys life leeching damage. So definitely gotta take out the light guys first, then the support. And then go after the big man himself. Again, trying to dodge these individual abilities so that we don't get blasted into smithereens. Might be easier to do with our ranged attacks.
I mean, even I like that it's
Immune,
a
by
bit
the
of a
way, to
challenge though.
freezing and all that. That's why I didn't
the
really
beginning
use that here. Yeah,
You
as you can
have to-
see, it's a back and forth, slower but more engaging fight
Yeah.
than you might be used to from other ARPGs. And our bosses will follow some of the same principles, but the leader's job is to work together with a core faction like the Skeletons. We will have several
Get a lot of
factions
XP
as
out
well,
of those.
like the Ictians
Good
that
engagement
you've seen.
battle.
We will have bandits that you have not seen.
Don't make it
We'll
too
have
easy
wildlife
for
that
you
you
in the
have
beginning.
seen, but they
Like
aren't
that.
working quite like the others. They're more scattered and just doing their own thing. We will have bosses, however, and the bosses will be those 1v1 encounters that are gonna take a longer time. Definitely set up for the duel experience and with more complex mechanics and skills.
Yeah, and for the initial early access, we plan with 3 bosses, and I definitely wanted to clear something up. When we are talking about the initial early access, then this is the first launch version that we will bring out in winter.
In the winter.
This
so.
we will follow up this with updates
Be
that also
December,
extend the
January.
content. So when we are saying we're planning with around about 12 hours for a completionist playthrough, means the 12 hours for the initial release. This will be extended by the follow-up updates, which will bring new chapters, new masteries, more content, more weapons, more loot, more of everything.
That's right, and that's all included in your purchase. So there's plenty to still create. We are actually planning and building those new chapters as we speak.
So they're continuously.
And there will be more enemies,
building
there
the
will be
game
more
at
loot,
this
there will be
time.
more masteries as well. At least 3 masteries in this very initial drop. And then we'll do even more.
Probably
And
leading
expand
into
on what is there.
expansions, etc.
Exactly. And so I want to say that we have a great start, a good, especially toolbox. Like, it's always hard in game development to get all the systems in place so you can actually start building the world, because that needs a lot of fine tuning. And the systems need to work together and everything. And I think we are in a very good state regarding that. And as Balin said, we are already working on the updates. There is still room though, so we definitely want to hear your feedback. And as you may have noticed, we definitely follow the discussion, definitely are talking about the feedback we are reading, and bring that to the team as well. So
They have a
I
good
think
base for the
this
game
is really
and
what we would
early
love to get from
development,
the early
early
access as well, to hear your opinion, and so you are also able to shape the development to some degree.
Indeed. And look, it's
Free
night.
release.
We have a day-night system.
Right.
So
Awesome.
with
we
that,
got
I
you
guess
showed up.
we are...
That's pretty
We've
cool.
told you everything we have to say for now, but there will be more, so stay tuned. There will be blog posts and all that kind of stuff. So we'll wish you a good night with that.
Awesome. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It says 2024, so That's a sign right there. Caught that. So early access is most likely coming out in December.
Welcome everyone to a playthrough of the Titan.
So it gave us a bit of the demonstration there. Let's see, as he just want to see the encounter here with the
theme
little
of it being
little
this
boss.
bright and vibrant place.
It's
Somewhere
cool how
where
the
you'd wanna
day
take
it
a
goes from
holiday,
day
but maybe
and
you
then
wouldn't
it
wanna
goes
take
to
a holiday
night,
with all the
as
monsters
it
around.
kind of has like a time for
Yeah,
time
that's
there
definitely
within
right.
the game.
And
Which
the
is pretty cool.
Gamescom demo actually starts a bit
So it's
after
just
the
not
intro
day
chapter,
all the
which
time
also
in the
will be
game,
part of early
24/7.
access, where we will learn that, yeah, Nemesis is after us, and now we as a player who barely escaped her have now to find out, like, why is the goddess Nemesis after us, and who better
But
to ask than the...
anyways, we won't get too far into it. It's definitely a good starter they have here. I'm excited for this game. I think it's coming out sooner than later, probably sometime here in December, as they showed 2024. Again, this is just early access, so we'll be playing that and checking out the base game of it. And so, as I said, they're still in development with more to the game, so we'll figure out kind of what more they'll add to the game, if that means end game or um, just more in general off of the campaign. Maybe it's only like half the campaign for the early access. So we'll get more details as they keep releasing some more of these broadcasts. So stay tuned with my channel here, and we'll keep covering a lot of these showcases that they're gonna do in the coming days here. So we'll stay tuned until the next broadcast. All my socials, everything is listed below. We'll keep tabs on this game. Looks pretty fun, interesting. I think a lot of people will be sleeping on this game, so definitely check it out. That's why I want to let everybody know that this is just another ARPG that I think will be a lot of fun. It's kind of based in like this Greek mythology world, just like how Titanquest 1 was, but it looks a lot more improved in the current genre of RPG games. So it's definitely a contender. With the other big titles there, with the Diablo franchise, Path of Exile. So we have a lot of content coming and a lot to do within these coming weeks and months. So stay tuned, guys. Again, my socials are below. Check out my other platforms, YouTube here, Twitch. I'm streaming Mondays to Fridays. So we'll be covering a lot of feed. We have Diablo 4 PTR December 3rd. So that goes live for Season 7. We went over in the last video of the witch powers that you get for Season 7 of Diablo, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like Season 2. You have certain powers. A lot of end game activities are adding. Yesterday was Path of Exile 2's big launch day stream, I guess, for the early access, which comes out December 6th. And you can buy the supporter packs launching December 6th at 2 p.m. 13 days, 22 hours for the countdown here. So that's very exciting stuff. You can go through the supporter packs, and they have them listed within the website here. You can get the $30 supporter pack is just a base with some coins for in-game items, probably skins. So that's another big thing for Path of Exile 2. Early access key is with that. So lots of stuff we're preparing here for. So we'll be streaming it as much as possible. And I hope you guys all enjoy this content that I'm covering here. So again, subscribe if you like this video. Thank you very much. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day until the next video. Cheers.